going on? Welcome to Unbox Impressions. My name is Cyrus, and today Apple held their 31st annual WWDC, their first online WWDC, and boy, was it a jam-packed one. Now listen, I've watched every single WWDC since 2011, and this year is no exception. In this video, I'm going to go through all the major announcements from today and break down all the important points, tidbits, and facts from today's event. So let's begin. First of all, I just wanted to mention what a wonderful intro. From outer space into the Steve Jobs Theater, the shot of Tim Cook against the empty seats inside the theater. It was an incredible shot, and it really captures the emotion and the powerful and special message that he spoke about relating to George Floyd and the whole Black Lives Matter movement. Now, if you tuned in before this event, you might have seen and noticed the lights along the world or on the globe. They were actually animojis of the developers around the world. Now that was a cool idea. So to begin, they transitioned over to Craig, which was a really neat transition. They probably used a drone, but such neat transitions between different areas of Apple Park. Really cool, really creative. So they kicked off things with iOS 14. They kept the fundamentals largely the same, but they upgraded the features, rethinking core elements of iOS. So one of the new things are app widgets. Apps can show you more detail just from the home screen. You can arrange it in any way you like. Now this is something that I personally wish that they've done for a long time, and they've finally done it. The home screen, solution to, pages of apps. It's a way to organize all your apps without doing a single thing. This is called the app library. The app library automatically organizes all your apps into a simple view to navigate. This is done by simply hiding the pages, maybe third, fourth, fifth, sixth pages that you have that you don't need, and it organizes it into what's called your app library. The suggestions on the very top left, it's pretty neat. It uses AI to recognize what apps you use the most often, and they are all sorted into different categories such as games, photos, and more. It's going to be way easier to get to your apps now with this feature, so it's really awesome. Now widgets, this is a feature that I've been waiting for a long time as well. These widgets are various sizes and incredibly detailed with data. This begins in the Today view when you swipe to the right, and guess what? You can move these widgets from the Today view onto your home screen. You basically select the widget from the widget gallery, and as more and more developers begin to tweak their apps and support this, there will be a limitless number of ways that you can customize your home screen. Now, Smart Stack will automatically show you information that your phone recognizes a pattern with, such as calendar, activity, and more. On top of all this, the iPhone now supports picture-in-picture. Finally, just like it is with the iPad, picture-in-picture works the same way. So if you're watching a video or watching a movie, you're able to minimize that while still continuing to use other functions of your iPad. You can change its size, you can hide it over to the side, you can access the controls, pause, play, or go back to full screen mode. Siri is also receiving a significant update. Currently when you use Siri, it switches to a full screen UI, but now it's way more compact. Siri appears as an animated icon on the bottom of your screen and doesn't impede whatever you're currently doing on your device. Whenever you call for Siri, it doesn't obstruct your view. Imagine being able to reference something on screen and add it to your reminders, for example. This is a really great feature, something that really was needed to enhance the overall iPad, iPhone experience. Siri is also more helpful, so you can use Siri to send audio messages and search for more answers to the questions using the power of the internet. It'll consolidate that all into one search area. Siri can also help with translations to make it feel a little more natural, and this is followed by a new app from Apple called Translate, similar to Google Translate, but uses advanced on-device machine learning directly from your phone that is completely secure. Now, they've updated messages as well. When it comes to conversations, you can now pin the most important conversations like you can pin important notes in the Notes app. Memojis are getting an updated too, and emojis are getting an update. They've got 20 new hair and head styles, more age options, and more sticker options for more gestures. They've simplified group conversations with inline replies. Now this is something we've seen in WhatsApp, for example. There are also now mentions that you can tag somebody in a conversation thread, and you can now specify a person and they'll get a notification. There's a new group icon as well, which is really kind of clever. You can see basically who's all in that group, and you can even have a main icon to represent the group. Pretty nice updates. I know for me, I've got a ton of group conversations, and a lot of times I have to mute these conversations from time to time just because my phone just keeps blowing up with notification after notification. Now, Apple Maps also gets an update. We've got better navigation and more accurate information regarding places. New Maps is finally coming to Canada as well. In iOS 14, we've also got new ways to get to places and find places we love a whole lot easier. Apple Maps now features features guides to help you explore cities and find really great places to eat or hang out. Maps also guides you towards a location in a way that's more environmentally friendly. Now, that's a pretty neat thought. Whether it be transit or cycling, it's so great that they've added a dedicated cycling path. I've always been wary of cycling myself because I feel unsure whether I'm allowed to cycle in a specific area, but with this, it makes it so much easier. Cycling is only available in a couple of cities right now, including New York City and Los Angeles, and some areas in China. Now, if you have an electric car, Apple Maps now has EV routing and factors elevation and weather to help guide your trip to reduce the anxiety of possibly running out of electricity. Tons of updates to Maps, really great work, and I'm looking forward to using Maps a whole lot more. Now, we've got some significant updates to CarPlay. New wallpaper options, new categories for your apps, and finally, they've reimagined the car key. This is really cool. Just like with Tesla, how you can unlock your car using your phone through the app, digital car keys are now a thing with Apple. It'll use NFC to unlock your vehicle, and it provides security elements. And now you can even share your car keys with others through iMessage. With each key you share, you can share options such as different profiles, different kind of notification styles. This feature is also enabled in iOS 13, so those who currently, buy a new vehicle before iOS 14 comes out can still use it. With the U1 chip, this spatial awareness allows you to unlock your vehicle if your phone is in your bag or in your back pocket or something, not really necessarily next to the handle of the car, but really neat technology here, and it's only available in a specific model of the 2021 BMW SUV. Next to be updated is the App Store. Now, if you need an app for something specific, this thing called App Click allows you to immediately download the correct app you need. Great examples are when it comes to scooters, and you don't have the app already on your phone. You can basically use this to scan an icon on the device, and it'll automatically pop up the app that you need in order to register or pay or use it. Really great use of NFC here and really handy. Whew, so that was iOS 14. Now, honestly, I thought they would rename iOS 14 to iPhoneOS 14 or something. A lot of rumors were kind of leaning towards that, but this might be something that they might do later down the road. Now onto iPadOS 14. So we've got the same redesigned widgets that we saw on iOS 14. The first thing that they showed us is an update to Photos. Apple is making it easier to browse your photos using a sidebar feature where you can access different parts of the app, such as albums, media, types, favorites. You can tap on a photo and quickly drag it into a specific album as well. Now, there are more sort options inside iCloud Drive, so it's a little bit easier to navigate, a little bit easier to be more organized inside there. Music has been updated to take better advantage of the iPad's larger screen, so you also got a sidebar feature as well to help navigate through the app no matter where you are within the app. The iPadOS 14 also gets a new compact Siri feature, so that really great animated icon that we get on the bottom whenever we call for Siri. Incoming calls are also presented with the compact notification now, which you may tap to answer or even flick away to dismiss. Don't worry, this feature is also available on iOS for iPhone as well. So both iPad and iPhone, when you receive a phone call, you can use those gestures to answer or decline the call. Search is also no longer a full screen experience. You can search anywhere and find anything you need without leaving the app that you're currently in. This is really handy if you're trying to reference something or trying to find a simple answer to something that you might be reading. iPadOS receives improvements for the Apple Pencil. Now these updates are really great. Just in case you thought the Apple Pencil wasn't great enough, they've made handwriting feel just as powerful and effective as typing. They're bringing Scribble to the iPad, so you can turn your handwriting to any text, and you can handwrite on any text field on the device. Shapes will auto-form as well when you're drawing or when you're sketching, if you need to reference a certain shape or something like that. When you write, you can select specific words or lines thanks to machine learning, and what's cool is you can even change the color, you can change the spacing, the size, just by highlighting handwritten text. Now, what's really neat is you can search in the search bar by writing in the search bar. So if you're searching for something on Safari, you just have to write what you're searching for, and it'll automatically translate that to text so you can search it. If you're doing reminders and you make a little mistake, you can just scratch away to delete. I've always been annoyed with having to switch between the Apple Pencil and typing, but with this, it makes it so much easier. These are really great enhancements to the Apple Pencil. Now we've also got some new AirPod updates. Apple's bringing more magic to the AirPods. AirPods will now switch between devices using automatic switching. Once you finish listening to a podcast, for example, on one device and switch to a movie on your iPad, it'll automatically route the audio from that one device to the new device that you're watching on. There's also spatial audio features to bring a more immersive experience to AirPods. This is meant to replicate the whole movie theater experience. Now, with everything going on, theaters are closed, it pretty much brings the theater right in your own home. AirPods also tracks the motion of your head, which keeps the sound anchored so things sound a little more natural in place. And that's it for iPadOS 14. This is a jam-packed event. Now moving on to WatchOS. First thing that they updated were complications. Until today, an app can only appear on one spot on the watch at a time. You can create your own watch face now and customize it towards a single specific feature or app. So whether it be related to fitness or if it's related to something specific, you can have all the complications be related to that one thing. I love the new chronograph face now. That's really cool. You can also now share your watch faces, whether it be from friends or to friends, or even on social media. You can share watch faces to create a more online community of great tips and ways that people utilize their watch. With WatchOS, you can also receive cycling directions as well. It shows you travel time, elevation changes, and turn-by-turn directions that are easy to read. The workout app is also being updated. It's one of the most used apps on Apple Watch, and on WatchOS 7, a dance workout has been added. Whether it's hip hop or cardio dances, it can track the world's most popular form of fitness. This is done by using advanced sensor fusion. It utilizes horizontal arm rotation and vertical acceleration with the heart rate data to provide you the most accurate calorie burn data it can. It's pretty neat how they're combining a lot of their tech to create more advanced tech. The app now features a new activity summary tab, which provides better navigation and metrics. The activity app is now called Fitness. Apple Watch also has more capabilities towards health. Apart from heart rate and steps, you are now able to track your sleep. You can track your sleep and it helps you achieve your sleep duration goals. Setting a goal is easy, but getting to bed on time is the more difficult part. They're now offering something called wind down. In the evening, ahead of bedtime, your phone will display a transition screen and turns on Do Not Disturb for you. It'll suggest things that you can do or apps you can do to help you transition into sleep, whether it's calming apps or easygoing music. Your display goes into the simple face without any distractive elements, so your watch will also easily wake you up using machine learning, recognizing signals throughout your sleep, whether it's breathing or your movements. It'll wake you up at the perfect time. Sleep mode is also available on iPhone without a watch on iOS 14. In addition to sleep keeping you healthy, hand washing is now a feature. It'll automatically detect when you're washing your hands and use audio to confirm the sound of running water, and it'll begin to count down and basically give you a timer as to how long you should be washing your hands for. It's a neat little animation with bubbles, and it'll count down through the circle, and it'll let you know when you've washed your hands for long enough. The Home app is also getting a pretty significant update. So they focus on ease of use, they never compromise privacy, and devices should all work better together. Apple's partnered with Amazon, Google, and other home-related companies to make HomeKit more accessible. Everything can be controlled through the Home app, and you can add devices fast and easy this way, and allows you to quickly set up automations immediately after you set up the device. Now, when you open the Home app, you can see the status of the apps that are most used and used most often. In iOS 14, you can now do something called adaptive lighting, which will adjust the warmness, the brightness throughout the day of the lights in your home. So this ensures that you get the right colors at the right time. Cameras in iOS 14 in the Home app. You can now define activity zones to focus on the most important areas. And another feature which I'm really excited about is facial recognition. Now, some cameras offer this, but this being integrated to the Home app is going to be a really handy feature. So you can tell who's at your door, and your HomePod can even announce who is at the door for you. This is also integrated into TVOS, where you can see directly on your TV who's at the door simply by asking Siri. And Siri also has that more compact appearance on the Apple TV as well. Now, gaming on Apple TV is going to be a little more versatile. You can have full user control to allow each person to individualize their game scores and their achievements. tvOS 14 enhances workouts with picture-in-picture. So if you're following a workout and you wanted to, catch up on the news, you can have both playing at the same time, just like it is on iPadOS and how it is now on iOS 14. Okay, now that brings us to macOS. Now, the new operating system this year of macOS, macOS 10.16, is called Big Sur. This features an entirely new design taken from attributes and features from iOS. The goal was to bring more clarity in the design of the software, unified symbols, depth and shading, translucency. It's a new design language for the Mac. They reduced visual complexity overall by rounding corners, they created a new suite of sounds, remastered and refined as well. So consistency throughout the ecosystem is what they're aiming at. Mac icons now resemble iPhone icons in that little square format, but they keep significant and historical elements the same, such as on GarageBand or with Final Cut Pro. Really, really cool. The dock has a new elegant design as well, including those gorgeous new icons. The Finder has a new top to bottom design and a more space efficiency toolbar to access your controls. Mail has a new sidebar design as well, so you can see the rounded corners everywhere to make it more consistent with iOS. The Photos app is more refined and easier to access what you want. The app is backed by Metal, so better playback and better animations of live photos when you're scrolling through and browsing your picture library. Now, there are lots of translucent elements within macOS, which makes it feel very open and very engaging. A control center is now on the Mac, and now you can adjust the display brightness or activating dark mode or night shift. Now, these things you can even customize to tune it to how you use your Mac. Notification Center has also been reinvented. This brings you notifications and widgets all together in one place. You can expand them to take a closer look or clear them out with a single click. Now, you've got the same widget gallery like we saw in iOS 14. Some of the most used apps on the Mac have received some great updates as well. Messages are being taken to the next level. You can now utilize a powerful search engine. There's a much better photo picker and more memojis that you can design and use. There are some great new message effects and pinned conversations that are saved across all your devices. This includes the new group enhancements that we saw with iOS 14 as well. Now, when it comes to maps on macOS, there is an all-new, built-from-the-ground-up version of maps for the Mac. You've got a new detailed map and access to your favorites just along the sidebar. Basically all the great features that we saw in iOS 14, once again, available on macOS. When it comes to Safari, once again, building on its amazing performance and design, Apple claims Safari is the world's fastest web browser. When it comes to page loading frequently downloaded websites, it's now 50% faster than Chrome. Safari is even more secure as well. This includes cookie blocking and intelligent tracking prevention. There's a new privacy report on the toolbar to better understand how a website respects your privacy. There's a little shield icon that you can click on and it'll show you all the details of how that website is tracking you. There's a new customizable start page too, and you can customize this based on your favorites, based on your bookmarks, really anything, kind of like widgets. They're really bringing that whole widget idea across their entire platform, which is really great. You can add iCloud tabs and reading lists onto it, and it all appears within one glance. What's really cool is if you have tons of tabs, you'll see that there are the icons of those tabs, and you can see where specific pages are. Once you get to having so many tabs, you can hover your mouse over and it'll show you a small preview of that tab for easier navigation. Safari can now translate an entire page in a different language to another language that you prefer. So that's macOS Big Sur, and that's not all. Today, they've also announced a historic day for the Mac. Tim Cook appears back on stage and talks about how the Mac has grown over the last couple decades, how the Mac embraces innovation, and how they've had 3 major transitions in the past. He goes by saying, today's the day that Mac transitions to their own Apple silicon. When they make changes, it's for one reason, so that they can make better products. They talk about how, it all began with the iPhone. Their team delivered 10 generations of improved CPU performance for the iPhone. Performance has increased over 100 times since it started. They scaled this architecture from the iPhone to the iPad and made some incredible CPUs specifically designed for the iPad with Retina display and with the more powerful graphics. This puts the iPad in a class by itself with over 1,000 times GPU performance in just over 10 years. They did the same thing with the watch, where they brought everything over and they scaled its performance and made a chip perfectly suited for the Apple Watch itself. They've shipped over 2 billion systems on a chip in just 10 years. Now they're bringing all this to the Mac. This will give the Mac a whole new level of performance and power. Where they wanted to go is they wanted to take the Mac in the direction that gives it the most power with the least amount of power consumption. They've got advanced power management to enhance battery life, a secure enclave that offers best-in-class security, GPU that'll provide next-level graphics performance, neural engines, and other custom technologies surrounding all of this. They're designing a family of system-on-a-chips for the Mac, and this brings an incredible level of performance and features. This will also provide a common architecture across all their product lines, and so these new iMac systems will be incredible. Now, at the end of this, Tim Cook is giving his closing remarks. He says that the developer beta is going to be available today, and that there's a public beta next month, including the first ever WatchOS public beta that's following next month as well. And the thing is, we all kind of expected some sort of hardware announcement today, like a new iMac or something like that. But even though we didn't get that, we still got a ton of new software features that really enhance the iPad, iPhone, and Mac experience to the next level. So even though we didn't get, what we kind of were expecting in terms of hardware, we still have a lot of great news related to software that we can really, build on. And you can expect that the next generation of products coming out, typically, they like to announce new products in the fall. Those products are going to be absolutely incredible. So we just have to wait a little bit more, and we'll see some really incredible products from Apple, I'm sure. And well, there you have it. What did you think of this year's WWDC? And what was your favorite announcement from today? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I typically do product packaging reviews, but technology is at the heart of my passion, so I love doing these kind of videos as well. You can bet that once these items have been released, they'll be here so that I can review the packaging. And with that, I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.